Under Ron stuff, take two. I did a whole one where it was nothing but an image. This has to do with Cox television, cable, or actually any Ethernet or even fiber optic based uh, internet in your home. In my particular case, it's Cox. There's cable buried under the ground down the street. There's a connection at the street. From the street, it comes in a cable, comes to my house. There is a connector there, attaches onto an existing cable inside the house, comes all the way downstairs to an unfinished portion of the basement, where our cables came in from various rooms throughout the house, as well as telephone outlet cables came in from the house, and there was intent to make junctions there. The cable TV could be then put into a distribution system, and cable TV could be sent to every room literally in the whole house. Same way with telephone. And you'll see a lot of older homes have it that way, a cable TV connector or a telephone in every room. And somewhere in the house is a junction where it comes in and then it gets split out to one mechanism or another. In my particular case, my problem is all sort of suddenly my internet would go up and down. The Cox modem, a newer version, would come up and be stable, and I would have internet, and then a couple of minutes later, the connection would drop out. The modem would have to recycle itself, try to come up and make a connection again. Sometimes it would, and I would have the internet for another 2 to 3 minutes, then it'd drop out again. So before I called support, I tried to figure out what was going on, and in my mind, it was either an outage in the neighborhood, or the cable coming in from the street to my house, or it was the modem. I discounted that it could be the PC or the internet on the PC, or my wireless router, which I had. I discounted all of those. And so I couldn't, I sorted it out. I tried doing this and that, and I couldn't come up with anything. I finally called support, and I said, I don't see an outage in the neighborhood, but I'm having this problem. And I think it's either the service line coming in from the street, or there is an outage on the street, nobody knows it yet, or I have a bad modem. I can't figure out anything else. So she used her remote tools and took a look at it, and she said, yes, I can see where the cable modem sometimes comes online and sometimes doesn't. But when it is online, if I look at the signal strength on that from us to that modem, it's not a good signal. Okay. So talking with her about the problem, it turns out this, and this is important to know, is that when you contact support, there has to be from Cox all the way down that cable, all the way into the house, all the way to the modem, and the modem has to be on and actually locked into a Ethernet device, a PC or whatever it is. There has to be a connection between one device in your house and Cox Internet for them to be able to see the signal strength on that line. So if you don't have anything, and one of the questions she asked me was, well, do you have cable TV? This is a good question. Everything's carried on the same cable. Cable TV, the internet, in my case, a telephone, and I think even they have a security system that you can get. All that's carried on the same one cable. So it's a valid question. Do you have cable TV? I turn on cable TV. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, but it's pixelating. Never did that in the past. Wasn't pixelating, which means, readily to me means a poor signal strength. Okay. So anyway, we talked about it, and she said, well, I can send a technician out to look at the line. The signal strength is bad. There's something related to that, and that's probably what's causing the modem to go online and then drop off, and maybe the modem. It's gotten, it's too sensitive to signal strength. And I said to her, hey, go ahead and schedule me that. Then I got to thinking about it. Well, I could take the modem off, take it to the local store, Cox Cable Company store, and they could give me a new modem. At least I could swap that out and determine if in fact it is the modem that's causing the problem. And that would eliminate that out of the issue. And then when the tech came, I'd say, look, I got a new modem. That isn't the issue. It must be the line. Something somewhere, either down this street or the connection at the street coming into my house, something like that. So in the back of my mind, she says signal strength. In the back of my mind, I'm getting pixelated on the television. Signal strength. Now, in my particular case, I replaced the line from the street. There is a box there where Cox cable attaches. You attach the line that comes from their main feed underground all the way to the house, and then from the house it comes all the way in. In my case, that main line came all the way down to an unfinished basement. And in this unfinished basement, there came in coax cable lines from literally every house in the room. There was a coax connector in every house of the room, with the intent was that you could have cable TV in every house. I also had a telephone jack in every house in the room, with all the telephone lines from there coming to this unfinished basement, with the idea that there was going to be a junction center down there somewhere. And using one device or another, you splitters of one kind or another, you would be able to connect all those telephones jacks and all those cable TV jacks to that one telephone line or that one Cox cable. So I had, from the side of the house, I don't know because I can't see it, but I assume it is a single line, no connectors in the line, all the way down to this unfinished basement. Now there is a connector, comes up from underground from the street. Where it enters the house, there is a connector there. It wasn't a solid line run all the way from the street, all the way into my house and all the way down to the unfinished basement. There's a connector on the side of the house. Any connection in a cable like that degrades the signal strength. You don't want many connections on a cable run. That the more connections you have, each one is going to degrade that signal strength. So in my case, I have to assume that from the house, edge of the outside of the house, and to where it terminates here in this unfinished basement, that is a single run of coax. Now I have the coax in this unfinished basement. And in the room where I want to put the modem, there is no coax jack in the wall. It's the only room in the whole place that didn't have cable TV routed. Don't know why, but it didn't. So I had to put it in. And looking at it, I don't want to tear out walls or anything. So I wound up sketching together. I could find the coax from running in this unfinished basement to a certain spot. And from there, I could get access up one floor and an unfinished wall area to get up to the next level up, was where I had to go. And then there I did put it in the wall and finally get it into this office space where I wanted the modem to sit. So I had one junction here in the unfinished basement, one junction here for that cable, and then it comes out and it had to go over to another junction, and then finally upstairs to another junction, and then to my modem. So I had several junctions, several connectors, and multiple cable going from here to where the modem is. Well, I didn't like that because each connection is going to degrade the signal strength. So in my wisdom, up at the top floor, after I put in what was called a bidirectional cable amplifier. Bidirectional because we're going to send signals, internet signals up and down. You don't send cable TV signals up there. You're not TV signals, but you send digital signals from the internet go up and down. You send stuff up, you get stuff down. So it has to be a bidirectional cable TV amplifier. And I bought one of those and I installed it. And it did significantly improve the quality of the signal. That I then, at that point, there was a junction box there. One of them went to the cable TV, the Cox receiver, and it also went into the modem. Okay, and I put a bidirectional amplifier there, and everything worked fine. When she said I had a signal strength problem, it took me a while to think about it, but when I went and checked my bidirectional cable TV amplifier, it had got unplugged. Not only was it not amplifying the signal anymore, it was actually degrading the signal. And the modem has to have a certain level of signal strength on the cable for it to try to make a connection to a attached Ethernet device. If it can make the connection, it would stay for a while, but then the signal strength of the cable got down and the noise or dropped too low, and the modem would disconnect from its connection to the Ethernet device, to the internet device, and it would cycle back through trying to make a connection again. And that's what it was doing. And why it was doing was the signal strength coming from the cable through all those connections, unfortunately, was ratty. It was not good enough. And somehow or another, and I can explain how that happened, but I have a powered bidirectional cable amplifier. It had come unplugged, and it was degrading the signal strength. So once I plugged it back in and got my amplifier working again, I'm hunky-dory. So it was not the modem. It was not the internet interface in my PC. It was not the internet interface in my wireless router, which I use. It wasn't any of those problems. It was a signal strength problem, and it was actually caused by me with putting in a bidirectional cable amplifier. Underneath all I've just said is the main point. One is the cable modem has to have a decent signal strength from your cable supplier. I don't care if it's fiber optics or it's cable. That, once it enters your house until you get to your modem, that's your responsibility. They don't do that. They will do it for a lot of money, but that's you. And you want to, if you have to mess with it, you want to eliminate as many connections as possible. You don't want connectors in that line. You got to get a good signal strength to your modem. The only way the company can remotely help you at all is if that signal strength is strong enough and the modem can find an internet device connected to it, be it a PC or a router. Okay? And if it connects, then they can look at signal strength, and they can see you're online and all that. But if you unhooked anything from the modem, they would not be able to tell anything. They can't see the modem. They don't have any clue on how to measure the signal strength. In my case, it was a signaling strength problem. It was not the modem. The modem just wasn't getting enough signal, and it would make a connection to my wireless router, and then it would lose it because the signal strength dropped too low, and then it would cycle back on and try to make another connection, and it kept going over and over and over again. So this is all about, and underneath of it all, it gives you some basic information on how internet, be it fiber or cable or however it comes into your house, and how it interacts with the modem that you have internet off of, how it reacts, how it's dealing with that. Signal strength is a big deal. Cable is running in the yard. If you cut it, you're going to lose. Or if you degrade it, you're going to lose. Even a nick that lets water in the cable that's buried in your yard is going to cause problems. Once upon a time, they used to string cables from the house from a telephone pole out front, and it ran across, swung over to your yard, attached to the top of your house someplace, and it was run down the side and run to a connector inside. I think they've tried to do away with that. They try to bury them underground now, less likely to be damaged by a big thunderstorm of some kind, break the line or whatever. But anyway, it is important you have a solid signal strength to your modem. Bidirectional cable amplifiers do work. They will boost the signal, and I have used them before, but they have to work and they have to be powered on. That's enough of this Uncle Ron stuff. This had to do with modem and service, and where it was dropping in and out. The internet connection was dropping in and out on a wired Ethernet device. And in my mind, it was either the modem flaky going bad, or I had a problem with service. That wire, that cable from the street, or Cox was having a problem somewhere up the street to that modem. And it turned out to be inside my house through a cable amplifier, and it had to do with signal strength. And that's very hard for you to diagnose, but it gives you an idea of where to look, because Uncle Ron stuff has had to do with modem fuzzies. Bye bye for now.